You're listening to the Connect Church podcast featuring the pastoral staff of Connect Church in Tupelo, Mississippi. This podcast delivers biblical truths, hot topic discussions, and encouragement you need on your daily journey to live like Christ.
The Human Resources Department requires that I be available.
Not sure if the invite cards are nifty, but the mustache is definitely not.
He's in charge of our children. What are we doing?
I don't.
Here are your hosts, Terry Pierce, Andrew Pierce, and Tanner Stahl.
Thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
All right, we are here on the podcast today, the Connect Church podcast. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find the Connect Church podcast if you are mentally capable of searching Connect Church podcast into your Apple podcast app, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever, SoundCloud, YouTube. You can find it. And if you're listening, congratulations, you found it. Way to go.
We're here.
We are here. We got Terry here. We got Andrew here. Terry is still slowly recovering from his heart ablation.
Oh, I'm 1,000 times better, man. So.
1,000 times better. Good. Well, that's good to hear. And we know there was a lot of church members Sunday missed giving you hugs and kisses.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I don't think so. I don't think there was anybody.
Well, we know there was one. We won't name names. And it wasn't me, I'll tell you that.
Or
right
Belen.
Or Belen, that's right. But anyways, so we had a good service Sunday here at the church, and the music was rocking. We did a new song. Keena nailed it out of the park. Nailed it out of the park? She hit it out of the park. It was really good.
Yeah, hit it out of the park.
Hit it out of the park, yeah. She did a great job, so that was awesome. But anyways, so how's it going, guys? What's going on today?
It's going a lot better, man. I don't know why. Last week when we recorded this, my brain was not working.
Oh, we know.
Don't do drugs. It's like my brain was not working. I didn't even have a good excuse, but I'm a lot better today. But I can already tell Terry's feeling his Wheaties. He's 1,000 times better than last week. So, Terry, how you feeling?
Doing much better. I was actually, Tanner would agree that I was more on my game with coming out of heart surgery than Andrew was. You know,
Absolutely.
So my favorite Bernie meme this week, I know we're not supposed to wait for this, but I just got to say this.
That's okay, go for it.
So yeah, is that Bobby Knight, you got to be old school like me, basketball coach, and is my favorite one, and he's throwing the chair. It was the anniversary all those years ago. I threw a few chairs at Andrew when I was coaching him back in the day, and poor Sam Harrington, anyway, we'll just leave that off the air, but it's throwing Bernie across the floor, sitting in the chair, so it was legendary.
Why can't I be so creative enough to come up with
That's
that?
Brilliant.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Oh, man.
Although I will say, with Terry sitting down preaching, I kind of reminded me of Bernie. Like while he's preaching on Sunday, he just needed some mittens.
I just need some mittens.
We can make. I'm gonna have to work on some Photoshop there. That would get you some. Get you some of that. You got to sit there with your legs crossed. You know who he kind of reminds me of? Remember the Dunham guy, the ventriloquist, the Walter puppet?
Jeff Dunham.
Yes,
Jeff Dunham. Yeah,
the grouchy.
That meme reminds me of Walter. He's got his legs crossed, and his hands.
Yeah.
He did look kind of grouchy like Walter.
Walter. Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, so this is podcast episode 004, God Grows Our Faith. That was our sermon topic this week, and I got to be honest, I'm not saying I'm unprepared. I've got my notes and everything here, but Sunday sermon was just kind of an array of the whole thing because you had to split it up, and it was. I know that had to be difficult for you.
It was a little choppy. So yeah, David, I had the best one. David, a guy in our Connect group, he said he just took his pen and he's got the notes from the guest services desk. So we got the outline out there now, just in case folks are not aware of that. Picked it up on your way in, and he said, "I'm trying to follow the notes," and he said, "I just threw my pen down."
Yeah, we're with you, David. We're with you too. That was our Connect group too. We just we were like, well, let's just talk about what we can talk about. But anyways, so God Grows Our Faith. Are the main scripture reference was Hebrews 11:6, and I'll get Andrew to read that here in just a minute. But tell us one of the most meaningful statements you may have made that you thought, or one that you may have heard.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we want to really zone in on, at least, is disorganized as the message was in a way, but it was cool. The Holy Spirit used it, I think, and it was more of an illustrative message, storytelling. especially at the end about helping people with their dreams. But to get there is understanding the definition of faith. And we walk through the text of Hebrews 11:6. He's going to read in a second. And, the text always save you if you're even halfway trying to preach. And the definition that I got from some of the Bible scholars combined them, and it's just really good. Faith is confidence in God. And that's just, everything about our culture today and society is, we need our self-awareness, and we need to, find ourselves and self-confidence, and they're writing all the books and all that. And what people are really missing is yourself will never satisfy you. You're never going to look good enough. You're never going to be athletic enough. Even if you do everything right and you cut out donuts, you're still going to have heart surgery.
You're saying I'm not a good athlete? Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm hearing.
I don't think I've ever said you were a good athlete, but anyway. Of course, I've never seen your swimming trophy, but anyway.
And now we're not going to after last week's story.
I remember the first time I ever met Terry was at Teen Camp Georgia, 2012. Okay. Yeah. And there's always a camper counselor basketball game. And for some reason, he didn't know me, but he thought, I think that fat guy should be on the starting five.
Be a point guard.
That's right. You picked me to point. I was surely benched really soon thereafter.
No, it was because nobody else on the counselors could dribble. They were so you were actually the first guy that could actually dribble the ball and pass. And
no. Don't even let him fool you. It had nothing to do with dribbling. He wants somebody that could get him the ball.
Absolutely.
So he could have his 5 minutes of glory.
The reason I picked Tanner is we had watched the pickup games throughout the week, and I said that guy can pass, and so that's all I needed.
I'm sure not going to shoot. That's for dang sure.
And we, of the 20 years that I was director of working with camp and then helping out bringing our kids from Tupelo, we won 18 of those 20.
I think we did lose that game, though, that year.
It was Tanner's fault?
No, it was just one of those random years where the teens had just monsters down low.
Yeah, it could have been. Probably,
maybe Adam was
there
shooting lights out or something. Yeah. You wouldn't let me guard him. I would have been a lockdown defender, but you wanted to guard him. So
you're surprisingly athletic. So I'll give you that pass. So,
and to completely contradict what he just said, it's that faith is confidence in God on the basketball court. No, it's not even a little bit. Like he's full confidence in himself. But but just to kind of piggyback off that to bring this rabbit that we chased, that was kind of the thing that stuck out to me the most. And I mean, I've given the definition of faith. We know what faith is, but it's full confidence in God. And I'd almost add one more thing to that, is it's also reliance upon God. Mm-hmm. Just like even what Terry just said, is it's a full denial of self, realizing we can't do this. And that confidence in God, also you just have to fully acknowledge you can't do this. Like there are things that happen in life, no matter where you're at, like there are just situations, things that arise that are completely outside of your control. But faith is knowing God's got this. God's got this no matter what's going on and stuff. That doesn't mean you're going to like the outcome. That doesn't mean it's not hard. That doesn't mean it's not going to suck. But God has this. He's got this. And so that faith is, as we, Terry talked about Sunday, it gets tested in different ways, but it's full confidence and full reliance upon him.
Dr. George Guthrie, New Testament Bible scholar, on this passage in Hebrews, he says this: it is a firm conviction, and expanding on the faith and confidence in God, he says it is a firm conviction that what he says, speaking of God, is true, and what he promises he will do. And so that's sort of money.
That's good. Andrew, go ahead and read Hebrews 11:6 for us real quick.
Yeah, I've got it right here. It says, "And without faith it is impossible to please him, for whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him."
Okay, so when this verse says you cannot please God without faith, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
Yes, and right. No, that's a great thing that we're talking about this week, is that it means that God invites us into a relationship with him. And first of all, we can't be saved on our own. And so we want to quantify that, is that, God invites us, he draws us, he calls us. And so, that is how we get here, is that nobody can find God on their own. Nobody can come to God on their own. So he extends the invitation. We believe John 3:16 teaches that all, can be saved, and God is inviting all of us into relationship with him. But we also believe that the faith part comes in, is that we have the privilege and the free will to accept. And so I think that's what Hebrews 11:6 is screaming at us. There's some theological debates on that, but I think it's simply saying, that you cannot have a relationship with God until you believe that he is. And so that's where your faith comes in at. He invites you into him, but you have to choose that. We all know people who choose not to follow God. And the reason they can't please God, Tanner, is because they do not put their faith in him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know when you look at scripture as a whole too, there's tons of stories where people took things into their own hands and like royally
Absolutely.
screwed it up. And so I think, what this verse is saying in Hebrews 11:6, to piggyback off of Terry's sermon too, is it's not just positive thinking. It's not even just like wishful shot in the dark. Like when you say that faith is confidence in God and that you need faith in order to please him, is that when and kind of going back to our 4 pillars of like what we believe here, like founded on God's word, discipleship, all of this, but it's being spirit led. And spirit led means that, we're fully relying upon him to show us what to do. We're fully relying upon him to open doors. We're fully relying upon him in every situation, in the delays, in the difficulties, in our dreams and everything. So without faith, it is hard. It is impossible to please him, because it's saying, I'm not going to take this into my own hands. I'm not going to try and fix this myself. God, I need you. I need you to meet me where I am, and I need you to show me the way out of this situation. I need you to show yourself.
Yeah, and it translates also to not only having great faith, but a great love. As you just said, Christ loves us.
Right.
We believe that in John 3:16. I actually used that verse Sunday in one of my songs. But then it also turns back the other way too, where we love Christ.
Right.
I love the quote you said, and ironically, I'm never in the sound booth during the sermon, but I had to go up there this past Sunday, and when you read this quote on the screen, it says Dr. A.W. Tozer says, true Christian, and here's the quote, feels supreme love for one whom he has never seen, talks familiarly. I can't even say.
I struggle with that word.
You said, you screwed that word up too, Sonny. Familiarly, is that how you say it? Familiarly,
sure.
It is a difficult word.
Anyways, he feels supreme love for one whom he has never seen, talks with every day to someone he cannot see, sees the invisible, hears the inaudible, and knows that which passeth knowledge. And it was cool to see when whenever when you were reading that, how many phones went up for people to take a picture of that screen. That was really cool, because like you said, Christ loved us, but then in turn, we have the faith in him, and we should be loving him in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And these are deep doctrinal truths. A.W. Tozer's been around a long time for those of us in the preacher world, and he's went on to be in heaven and a long time ago. But yeah, it's just a classic statement. And back to what you guys were talking about, I also made another statement in the sermon this past week in helping define this whole thing about faith. Faith isn't a blind shot in the dark. It's not positive thinking. It's not arrogant presumptions or gullible naivete, but it is confidence in God.
Yeah. All right. Now talk through this point here. I think we've kind of covered the first point of faith and knowing his word and knowing Christ. But the second point was that God grows our faith. And I guess you're going to cover that more this coming Sunday. Right. But the second way God grows our faith is God grows my faith through circumstances that test me.
Yes.
And how we're being tested 24 hours a day. Today I was doing my Hear Journal, which you'll hear about more later on the staff meeting, by the way. So here's a little preview.
Is it from John?
It's not from John. No. In 2 Timothy verse 14, he's talking about Paul is talking to Timothy here, and he's telling me, I know whom I have believed, is where we get the song. I know whom I have believed in, which I've committed my life to him. But then he says to hold fast, because things will come and try to take this from you. So that I thought that was pretty neat how today's Hear Journal correlates with this point. God grows our faith through circumstances and being tested.
Yeah, we're going to unpack, so be here this Sunday, because we're going to tell you about 3 ordinary people. And one of the things that, we're sort of setting it up for is we think about, so many times, especially for our listeners that aren't used to church and stuff of that nature, and, we think, well, those are church people. Those have got to be like super Christians and all of that. But I love how in Hebrews chapter 11, it's not, we do have some of those. You've got Abraham and Moses that even unchurched folks have heard of, know a little bit about that. But the chapter's filled with people that were just ordinary people. They were identifying with ordinary. you could put Tanner and Andrew, as ordinary as it gets right there.
Wow.
And so you could, they were just people like you guys and all of us, and yet they had remarkable faith. So what does it take? It doesn't take special people. It takes a special God. And the thing that comes out of that chapter is in this Sunday that we're going to, really hone in on is we're going to tell you about 3 of those ordinary people. One was a shepherd. One was a preacher, and one was a builder. And we're going to unpack those 3 stories, and then we're going to tell about some of the stories of their testing that they went through. Ordinary people, didn't always work out well, but God was faithful.
I feel like I should sing the song 3 Wooden Crosses this Sunday. 3 wooden crosses,
Yeah,
No.
the ordinary people and then the pastor.
Got that. Yeah.
Anyways, all right.
I know what it is. So.
Andrew's like, no,
No,
that's a country song.
I know why it is. That's why I don't want you to sing. We actually we didn't know if we were going to be meeting this Sunday in our Connect group, so we kind of unpacked this. This is where we spent most of our time talking in our Connect group this past Sunday, and I just thought it was cool when we were discussing all of this about these ordinary people that just had a relationship with Jesus and stuff, and we're growing in faith, and we think this is like for super Christians. It's not. God works through our delays, through our difficulties, through our dreams, all of these things that, Terry's going to even probably more so speak to this coming Sunday and stuff. But it was cool to just talk about where people were, just how they were affected by these things, and like how they've gone through some like junk in their lives, and they've gone through some serious difficulties and stuff, and how God has been faithful in the midst of all of this. And, when I love the phrasing of what Terry said is that our faith is being tested 24 hours a day, whether that be because your dream is not coming true like you thought it would, whether that be you're waiting on God to provide in a season of delay, or you're just going through some crap in your life right now and a difficulty in your life, and your faith is being tested 24 hours a day. And another pastor out in California says it well, Bill Hull, he says, everybody's being discipled by something all the time.
That's good.
When you're watching ESPN, you're being discipled by something, whether you realize it or not.
I try not to watch ESPN.
Whether you're watching Fox News or CNN or a sitcom, like literally everything we're consuming in some form or fashion is actually discipling us in some way. When you're listening to this podcast right now, you're being discipled in some way. Hopefully,
Being discipled.
not like brainwashed, but we have this actually mind control thing going on. No. You're being discipled by everything all the time in some form or fashion. And in the same way, Satan is creeping in to test your faith in all those moments. So when you're not in the Word, when you're not in a relationship with Jesus, when you're not, just trying to look for opportunities, being Spirit-led, all these things, whether you realize it or not, Satan is creeping in to attack your faith. He's constantly shooting arrows at you and stuff and trying to get you to fail. And yet, our faith is what keeps us standing firm in the midst of those times.
Yeah, that's good. Terry, you want to give us kind of a final word
Yeah,
as we wrap this up?
This Sunday we talked about getting close there, so I'll make it quick. We talked this Sunday about the church's dreams, and it was so awesome, and wow, what a unpack. It was so encouraging to watch our church respond, and I've got so much great feedback from people about us adopting a church. That we're going to be revitalizing another church, and our goal is to do 5 of those in the next 5 years, and that we've already got a contract signed with the church, and I'll be doing that, launching that next month or this month. And
Did you know, fun fact, I didn't know this, you probably did, but the church that you're talking about, Colton and Taylor went to when they lived in Jackson. How cool is that?
Right now I'm going to actually be mentoring and talking with the lead pastor today there, and we'll have our session of of me coaching him, and then I'm setting up Colton and Taylor's. Right now we're going to try to set up where they're going to go with us, and
Nice.
so I know it's just so cool, and so who knows.
Colton gets to be the worship.
And
He'll
was,
love that.
after I was trying to preach after the heart stuff, so I was laying down in between services, and Colton came back and he had tears in his eyes, and he was just like, this is just so cool because that was a church I went to in college. It's just so beyond.
Well, he had tears in his eyes because I gave him a tongue lashing on how bad he played on the keyboard.
Oh, no, that's
I'm just-
terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible.
I'm kidding.
So,
I'm kidding.
Colton's,
Told him to step it up. No.
Oh my gosh, he always brings his A game. So anyway, but this Sunday we're going to really talk and make it more personal about your dreams, and we're going to help you understand, just like the preacher and the builder and the shepherd, about that their dreams had difficulties. And so how do you know, what is God doing in our lives? And here's the key to help, you know, our listeners and reminders of our audience as well, those that will come Sunday, and we'd love for you to be here if you're not a part of our church, is that it's God stretching your faith. It's the muscle memory, you know, it's that you're working out and you're doing that because God is wanting to get glory for him. It's not about you.
Right.
It's not about you being happy. It's about God, you putting all of your trust in and going, wow, I cannot control any flipping thing in my life, and I've just got to let it be for him. So we're going to help you, you know, understand biblically, you know, how that confidence is in him.
Yeah. If you have any questions or comments that you may have come up with as you're listening to this podcast, feel free to send them into the Connect Church Podcast mailbag. That is Tanner at triconnect.church. Tanner at triconnect.church. You can email me, or you can email any other guys. It's just their name at triconnect.church, Terry and Andrew. Feel free to send in questions or comments. We love to hear your feedback. We've gotten some good feedback this week. We're going to take a break right now, and we will come back. We got a loaded segment coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned, all right?
Have you been looking for a place to call home? Need a place that makes you feel welcome and valued while at the same time growing spiritually in Christ and biblical truths? At Connect Church, our mission is all about loving God, loving people, and making disciples. When we gather together, there's a spirit of worship, a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of welcoming to anyone and everyone who's seeking God's will and truth in their lives. We invite you to visit during one of our 2 Sunday services to discover how Connect Church can help you grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Our friendly and spirit-filled worship environment is just the place for you. Visit Connect Church this Sunday during our 9 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. services, located at 1650 North Veterans Boulevard in Tupelo, Mississippi. Or you can check out our live stream on our Facebook page or our website at www.triconnect.church. Again, that's www.triconnect.church. We look forward to connecting with you.
All right. Thank you, Brother Daniel Tucker, for that wonderful Connect Church promo. We do hope that you will consider visiting. If you are not a member of this church, we do have services at 9 o'clock and 10:30 on Sundays. We look forward to your visit and come check us out.
Both services are the same.
Both services are the same. We don't play the worship wars with a contemporary service and a traditional service. We don't do all that. We just
love Jesus.
Exactly. We love Jesus, and it twice on Sundays.
Twice on Sunday. That's it.
All right, guys. You know what time it is. It is time for the best and the worst of the weekend.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Wait. Which was it?
This is the worst.
Oh, yeah. Best of the worst of the weekend. All right, Andrew, since you ducked out last week and did not go first, we're going to make you go first, and we'll sit here until you come up with something, all right?
Andrew, wake up.
We'll go around the table. Give us your best of the weekend, Andrew.
Oh, man. I'm a little more awake and coherent this week. So we actually had I called it Guys Weekend. It was just on Saturday, though. I don't know why I call it Guys Weekend if it's just one day. But we just had all the guys in our youth group up here at the church, and we had some youth leaders and stuff. And one of the things we did was called Tube Tug.
It was amazing. I was up here studying, and it was cool to watch.
Yes, it was
Tug.
Tube Tug. It's basically like these giant and inflated snow tubes that you just put in a pile, and we split them up into teams, and they are on all 4 sides of a big open blade of grass or whatever, and they run and they go and drag these tubes back to their side. They have to carry it to their team's side and stuff, and they're worth different point values, and some tubes are smaller and bigger. Man, these guys, I saw a fire in some of these guys that I've never seen before. Some of these guys that come, they come into church and stuff, and they're like, don't talk to me. They'd rather be at home playing video games right now. They were like, I am going to kick you down. I know you, we had one boy, I tell you what, he's a football player. He's a big dude and everything else. I mean, he would just run and belly flop jump on top of the tubes, and he's like, "You're not moving these anywhere," and stuff. So I wish I should have taken videos more of this. I got pictures, but I didn't take videos. Otherwise, I just posted them to the Connect Church Facebook page, and I feel like we could have won $10,000 on a.
Was it outside?
Yes, yeah,
so
I was outside.
Maybe we got it on security camera somewhere.
Oh man,
possible.
We could have easily won $10,000 on AFV.
Here's the funniest thing about it, though. I think it's the same guy, but he was a Moorville football player, and he comes in, and and I'm in my office, I'm dragging because I'm trying to, get over the heart stuff and go preach the next day. And anyway, he comes in, I said, dude, are you okay? And I won't give his name, but he just says, man, yeah. I said, that was such a fun game. And he said, man, I said, that was like football, wasn't it? He goes, yeah, but I forgot that I didn't have a helmet on and my head hurts.
Oh, man. Oy. Oy.
Yep.
All right, Terry, give us your best of the weekend.
My best of the weekend was, and I hate it. I'm sorry, but it really was a spiritual moment. Is our Connect group was just off the? Is it off the hook or off the chain?
Off the heezy. I don't know, whatever you want.
Whatever we call it. Okay. Anyway,
it was good.
It was good. It was good. And we just had we had pizza, so that was good. But Papa John's. But anyway, the comeback from Sunday morning and the message that I felt like just totally flopped. And I was so down because it was so choppy, and we had to. The deacons made me only preach 25 minutes, which is not
which
true.
You didn't stand
which I didn't even come close to. Yeah, you cannot imagine how rough it was trying to concentrate on that. I've got deacons and their wives sitting on the front row on the left side, like, you need to shut it down. And then I've got Belen, and then Bubba, one of our other deacons, was sitting on the right side, my wife. And they were just like, she was giving me the kill it sign, like, and I did get white and, was a little dizzy and stuff like that. But you had to finish, man. You got to finish strong. And so it was sort of scary. But anyway, Sunday night, it was just
Are you saying the deacons and your wife are scary?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I believe it.
So, yeah, I mean, Tanner had David Mills as Avenger and the Hulk, so that was awesome. So that made my day. But anyway, it was just a good, really great time of sharing Sunday night. It wound up. We put the questions down. We have, for those of you who are not familiar, on Sunday nights at our church, we have what's called Connect groups, small groups, and they discuss the sermon on Sunday morning, and we're building relationships, everything we're about in our church. And, man, it happened Sunday night. It was just amazing, and it was just spontaneous. And so we just let everybody share about their dreams and their difficulties, and it just I needed it after having a struggle with the sermon Sunday to hear folks that even God speaks to when you suck as a preacher. So
just to be a little fact checker here, I know that's like the cool thing to do now.
Oh, okay,
be fact checker. Yeah. So you were supposed to preach for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
And I want y'all to guess how long it actually was, because I've got your sermon on the podcast.
38.
34.
34. Okay, the podcast is 47 minutes and 55 seconds.
That includes music.
Oh, wait,
invitation.
No,
just his preaching?
That's just your preaching.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my
now,
word.
Granted, 30 seconds of it is like church promo.
Yeah,
but other than that, okay, 47 minutes long, over 25.
And that was the half version.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't even imagine if
we
you tried
want
to do the
people
whole
to
thing.
come to church here.
All right, my best of the weekend. It actually hasn't happened yet, but it's been building up. Tonight is my last D group meeting with my D group. Yes, and they're excited about it.
And you're going to be doing another one.
We'll be doing. I'm taking a long hiatus, but no, they're excited about being done. I'm excited about. We're tired of each other.
Well,
it all started. It started back in November.
I can see people being tired of you.
Yeah, definitely. It started in November of 2019.
Oh, wow.
But both guys in my group had babies.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And at the end of November and then December, so it was like, okay, well, we'll just take a quick break, and then COVID.
Yeah,
we just, we got lazy with it, and it was my fault. But we got back
you
on
stayed
track.
with it.
Yeah,
Stayed
we got
with
back.
it. Okay.
We held fast.
Finished strong.
We are finishing strong tonight. So that's my best. They're excited. I'm excited, and we'll be done with that. All right, Andrew, give us the worst of the weekend.
So mine was more of an almost worst. If you can believe it, it was a modern day miracle. We had 20-something guys up here this weekend and stuff, like all just junior high and high school guys. And really nothing went horribly wrong, except one of the junior high boys came up to me and he said, all right, because we played basketball, we played video games, we did tube tug, we talked about what it means to be a man, all the stuff was good. And so one of the junior high boys
what do you know about being a man?
You need to go back and listen to it, Tanner.
Okay.
It's okay. I showed a video of
You should have brought in a guest speaker.
I did. I showed a video of Joby Martin from
There you go.
I just led a small group. But anyways,
Small man.
we're not talking about that on here. And all of this, the teenage guys, they like to give me a lot of crap about my mustache and everything. And so he said, look, if we play basketball and your team loses, you have to shave your mustache. And so I'm like, all right, I'll take that bet. and stuff. And so honestly, my worst was more that something else happened to one of our volunteers. He's never going to help with teenagers again.
Yeah.
Is one of my other like adult volunteers. He was playing, me and him were team captains, and he like second play of the game, he rolls his ankle. And I mean, like, his ankle by 2 hours into this event is like massive and everything. It was purple and everything. Like, he like horribly sprained his ankle. So I actually ended up subbing for the other team. I played for both teams and stop it, Taylor. Don't even make that face. I literally played on both, on the winning team and the losing team. And so, I mean, technically, I don't have to shave my mustache now. So it was an almost low. But the good thing is I get to grace you guys all with my mustache presence. Continuing.
I'm supposed to just sidestep this? Yeah. You told me
Don't make a comment, Tanner. Don't make a comment.
Terry, move on. Give us your worst, Terry. Give us your worst.
My low of the week was that story.
Yes. Oh, goodness.
Look, I had a good week.
Why would you say that? How am I supposed to? Do you know me at all?
This was also my high of the week, trying to watch Tanner not make a comment.
I'm so red-faced right now. Golly, help us all. All right, what was your worst, Terry?
I didn't say I batted for both teams.
You're making it worse.
I don't. I don't even have anything to follow after that. Just so I thought my heart surgery was bad, but that story just I'd rather go back under the knife than to hear that again. So yeah, it was actually it was just recovering this week. So it was my low part of the week. I hate being still, and so my wife's been unhappy with my movement as far as just getting to get out and do stuff, and I'm supposed to stay in. But anyway, it's behind us, so I'm ready to go and move forward. So.
All right, my worst of the weekend. I actually have two real quick, and they're both sports related.
Okay.
So y'all just bear with me. The Arkansas Razorbacks, which I'm still a fan of.
Did you guys win?
No, we lost. Shut up. We did beat Ole Miss on Wednesday. We beat Ole Miss.
You guys were up in that game. You should have won that game Saturday.
I know. We just couldn't close out. But anyways, this is why. Let me tell you why. Okay. And this has no bearing effect on the game, but I'm convinced this is why we lost. The camera angle in that arena.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. My neck hurt watching this stupid basketball game.
You lost because you didn't score enough points.
That's right. We lost because we didn't score enough points.
You played to win the game, Tanner.
We had a last second 3-point shot and it was just off the if it goes in, we win. It didn't, so we lost.
You look good losing.
That's right. It was fine. It was out of conference, so it didn't really matter. But anyways, it's like they perched the camera on the high rafter above center court and they're shooting it down. And I'm like, I can't see what's going on. This is so. And
I hate that angle.
And I watched the stupid game, the whole thing. Like I said, I was turning my neck to see what was going on, and it was.
It was because of COVID. The announcers weren't even at the game, and so they're they're doing all of that stuff because of COVID. Do you realize how bad a mood you would have been in if they had put you guys against a Texas team and you lost?
Yeah. We would normally beat the Texas team. So
okay. I'll give you that.
Anyways, my second worst, real quick, is I saw this last night. The Lakers were at the Hawks. Okay, did you see this story?
I've only got a glimpse of that. I haven't read it yet.
Okay, so there's these, the fans are limited, and there's a husband and a wife sitting who paid massive amounts of money for these tickets to sit front row courtside, and they're being fans. They're heckling the opposing team, right? They're in Atlanta.
That's what that was about.
This guy is heckling LeBron, okay? And he can't handle it. It gets under his skin.
I did hear about that.
And then the wife starts heckling LeBron. Okay.
Yes.
And so that's when he has enough. And he goes and tells the refs, she's like, I want them out of here. Get them out of here.
Stop it.
They kicked them out.
They paid to be in there.
Because LeBron couldn't handle it. Now, don't get me wrong.
Diva.
Don't get me wrong. These people were saying horribly awful things.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still fans.
Yes,
I mean, they can say what they want to. Okay.
Right.
But, and that woman, I saw that on Twitter, her talking about it, and she looks and just sounds like pure trash. But nonetheless, she did not deserve to be kicked out of that game just because of what she was saying. I mean, that's
it hurt
absurd.
his feelings.
It hurt his little feelings.
Oh my gosh!
I remember going to games back in the day when Bird and Magic were playing, and I would be there, and I literally and I'd take the boys when they were little. We lived in Georgia at the time, and we'd go to the Omni back in the day, and we would sit, and we got some pretty decent seats, and oh my goodness, the profanity and stuff, and we were church kids, and I was super legalistic back then, and I was like, this is not a very righteous place. but man, they put up with so much stuff, and they just and of course Larry Bird would shoot right back and say a few
Right.
thing, and so
Right.
it was awesome.
And he's free to do that, but you
Right.
can't kick him out of the game.
Right.
I know,
Yeah, I
but he
agree.
could have been Ron Artest, and I mean, just went and hit the woman. So at least they didn't do that.
Yeah, Charles Oakley.
All right, so this weekend is a big Super Bowl weekend. We've got the
Yes,
Kansas City
Brady.
Chiefs, and
Go
we've
Brady.
got the Buccaneers. I almost said Patriots. We've got the Buccaneers. So we don't bet or anything, but just to give you a reference, the line last I saw was Chiefs -3, which means the Chiefs are 3-point favorites.
Yeah.
So give us we're going to write this down, and we'll come back to it next week. Super Bowl picks. Tell us your score and pick of the game.
Oh yeah, I've got it. Brady and the Bucks. They are going to lose, and I'm a total. But I'm hoping they win. But they're going to lose 31-28 to the Chiefs. It's going to be a great game, and Mahomes is going to do his thing. But 31-28, the Chiefs beat them, and for Amy Weathersby, Brady's still better than Breeze and Rodgers. So.
Yeah, there you go. Andrew, give us your pick of the game.
I actually said close to similar. I said 35-28. Mahomes and the Chiefs, definitely. I don't know. I mean, I have respect for Tom Brady. He's incredible. I can't stand him. I really can't stand him.
Well,
So-
I'm going to be the outlier here because until it's kind of like the MJ thing. Until he loses, I'm not gonna pick against him. I got no reason to pick against him.
I respect that. I agree.
So
with you.
I'm going against the spread a little bit here, if you
What
will.
is the spread?
The 3 points.
Is it really?
Yeah, Kansas City by 3. That's the spread.
I just pulled that out of the air.
I
I'm
know.
amazing.
So you got to pick them, I guess. I don't know anything about gambling, and I don't condone that. But anyways, so
Andrew
I'm
already bet on stuff. What we just told the whole congregation that he was betting with his mustache. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's okay. It's with the youth. It doesn't count.
That's true.
So I'm going to go Bucks 27, Chiefs 24.
I like that.
Okay,
I
I'm
like
going
that.
to.
You don't think it's going to be higher scoring than that?
No.
Between Mahomes and
I think
Brady, you don't think it will be?
I
really
actually completely. That's one of your sports things I would support because the defenses are going to wind up surprising everybody because they both have good defensive teams.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that. So, anyways, all right. Last segment of the day here, guys. Where to go in Tupelo? I'll start it out.
Are you guys hearing a ding in your ear, or is that just me?
No, you're hearing a ding. You're hearing a ding.
All
I'm gonna
6 listeners heard that too.
yeah, I'm going to go local and give a shout out to my absolute favorite restaurant in Tupelo.
Okay.
Do y'all know what it is?
Los Toros.
Los
Colorado.
Toros.
Across the street from the
Across
church.
street. I may go there this afternoon and get me some taco salad, but I can't not. I mean, because half the church goes over to the Los Toros.
Mexican restaurant and Connect Church.
Right.
We're just like hand in glove.
They are the reason we moved here. You know, the Holy Spirit and God and everything, sure. But
that was the third part of the Trinity decision for
that's
you.
right. When I looked out the office window and there was the Mexican restaurant, you know,
It had to be a sign.
there it was. So my shout out is go to Los Toros, get you that fresh guacamole with your chips, water with lemon. Oh, it's so good.
Well, I don't know if the mole came out of the cave today or not, but what is not mole?
Groundhog.
Groundhog, yeah.
What's his name? What's his name? Punxsutawney.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no idea.
Yeah.
Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I probably don't want to say that on the air.
No, don't say that. And I may not be saying it right either.
And I'm sure it's not a mole. Is it a badger? What is it?
A groundhog.
Groundhog, yes.
Groundhog.
It's
Groundhog.
literally called Groundhog Day.
That's true.
There's a movie about it.
I have watched the movie. So yeah, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the rat when he came out today is that it's supposed to be 6 more months, but spring is in the air, and so my shout out is
it? It's like 40.
Yeah, what?
but it goes with my thing, so I'm just
all right,
saying
go
it.
ahead.
So it's not really true. But anyway, now's a good time of the year. Things are slower to get ready for your mowing season. See, I'm building up to this and take it to 4 seasons to get your lawnmower ready and fixed up. And
I bought my
see what
lawnmower
I
from
did
4
there.
Seasons. I
That
did.
was a
That's
lead
good.
in. It was
That's
good.
good.
I mean, it's not true about spring, but 4 seasons is great. I was actually going to give a shout out to probably even before all of this, came about. It was my favorite barbecue place in Tupelo, but Chop. Man, Chop
that's
Clay,
a tough
obviously,
story.
it's a tough
Yeah.
story, with him battling COVID. And
Good guy.
unfortunately losing that battle to COVID. But man, I got to give a shout out to a lot of these local places. A couple weeks back, I think it was Blue Canoe, Steele's Dive, Pizza versus Tacos, Bishop's Barbecue. One of his technical business competitors, they all were saying, if you come and support Chop or you support one of
that
our
was neat.
businesses, we're going to give 100% of our proceeds towards,
Wow.
Clay's treatment and stuff. And man,
Helping out his family.
I hate it for Clay and his family. Remember them in prayer, but they have some stinking good barbecue. It's over on Veterans, just right up the road here from the church. And I love to see our community come together, small businesses supporting one another despite COVID, despite issues.
Great town.
And go to CHOP. It's
Great
awesome.
town, great community. Amen.
Well, now I'm going to have to go to CHOP for lunch.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
That sounds good. All right. Well, that is the Connect Church Podcast 004. Thank you for listening. Support the podcast. Rate it 5 stars or 1 star, whatever you want to do. We prefer 5 stars. But anyways, we thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Oh.